Okay, welcome back to part 3 of making a base mesh in Blender for a game. Okay, so last session we did the arms, so today we're going to do the legs. So to get started with this, all you need to do is select all these faces that we created. So we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so we don't want these bottom faces, we want these 8 faces. So if you don't have 8 exactly, it shouldn't matter. As long as you've got 6, you should be okay. So, but 8 faces is best. If you've been following along, you should have the exact amount. Okay, so with those selected, go into front view. And I'm going to press E to extrude outwards like that. All right, just pull it out a little bit, because this is the loop cut that is going to essentially go around the leg. It's going to allow it to move. All right, that looks a bit weird now, but what we're going to do is we're going to come to this tool here, which is the smooth tool. We're going to click on that, and we're going to push that. Well, it's either out or in. It's different each time. And we're going to smooth that off so it looks just like that. You can see we're creating a good surface there for a circle. So now all we need to do is, if you don't have this, remember you just come to edit. If for some reason you don't have the loop tools, I'll go over it again. You just go to edit, preferences, and then add-ons, and then search for loop tools here, and then just tick this, and then make sure you save the preference, and then this will always appear here. Then hit circle, and that's going to circularize. Now, what we want to avoid is anything too weird going on the bottom here. Now, it doesn't look too bad, actually, so I think I can get away with that. But there may be instances where you need to delete some of these faces and then rejoin them later. Now, we might have to do that. We can have a look. With that circularized, though, you can press E to extrude, roughly down to here, G to grab, pull them to roughly the knee, R to rotate so that the legs are going to be straight, S to scale them in. Okay, just like that. And then obviously we're going to go to the side, we're going to tidy all this up, but it's a good start. And then we want that to be, I'm going to turn on X-ray. We want that to be roughly the middle of the knee. And then we're going to E to extrude to roughly here. S to scale. E to extrude, S to scale. Pretty much the same way we did the arms. Go to the side view, turn on my reference, and then just like we did with the arms, we're going to line up the leg with the side view. Okay, so we want to make sure that's in the center of the knee, just like that. And then we can put in a loop here to match the thickness of the leg here. We also probably want to rotate that slightly. So, in fact, I'm going to rotate it first. Okay. Right, so that's the basic of the leg. It goes in really quick. We don't have the same problems as we did with the arm of having to do it separately. Now, of course, you don't have to do the arm separately either. I just wanted to show you the different techniques that you can employ for making things, making the arm connect. And obviously, we can just draw out the leg. It's a little bit easier. I would recommend making the arm as a separate object, though. It gives you a bit more control. Right, so that's the leg. Now let's go ahead and start tidying this up a little bit, because if we look at our model, it is starting to resemble a human form, but we do have some really janky bits, down here in particular. So let's go ahead and tidy that up. So I'm going to go into side view. No, that's not side view. And I'm going to go into X-ray mode, and I'm just going to grab these vertices that should not be sticking out like that, and just push them under the body a little bit. Same with these. Oops. And this one. Let's have a look at that. It's still jutting out, but we're going to smooth it, so that will probably help us. a lot. Go ahead. Now the buttocks do stick out a little bit more around the back, but we are going to go ahead and create a proper bum in a bit. I'll show you how to do that. And you can go and use that same method for making breasts as well. It's not the best method in the world, but it works. Okay, so let's have a little look at that now. Okay, it's starting to look a little better. So the smooth tool, let's go ahead and do that. I'll get rid of the those. Now, if we go over to sculpt mode, so if I click here and go to sculpt mode, what we'll be able to do is, now what this won't do, should I say, is it won't add any more geometry. Okay, so if we go into wireframe and click on this, now it's quite high at the moment, so I want to turn the strength down to about 1.5. Something like that. If I click on this, you'll see the geometry moves. Oh, it might be easy to see like this actually. Right, the geometry smooths, but it doesn't change. Maybe I just need to turn it up slightly. Now it's subtle. What it's doing is subtle. It is affecting the mesh. And it's smoothing things off. So I'm going to go into the top here as well and do some. Where the shoulder meets the body. Just going to give it a bit of extra smoothness. Is that actually working? Oh, do you know why? Because I'm not on the right tool, so I'm just going to Control Z all that. I didn't think it was working. You can see it was moving a little bit, but it wasn't working. So I'm just going to go back. I'm sorry, I apologize for that. You've got to click the right tool. So go to the smooth tool, turn this down to 1.5. I wondered why that wasn't doing anything. And then just click, right? Don't hold it down, just click once or twice on the areas that you want to be a little smoother. It's going to, like I said, it is going to deform the mesh a little bit, but it isn't going to add geometry or take geometry away. It's just going to smooth it out a little bit, okay? So it is actually better to do it like this. I'll come up here and just click a few times. It's going to smooth that off nicely. Okay, well, looks like we're going to have to do some extra editing around the crotch area just to make that right. Okay. So there we go. So that's the basic of our human sort of form. Now, obviously, we've got to go do the hands and the feet. So I think we've got time to add the feet. Right. So before I do that, though, I'm just going to go and edit this a little bit. So go into back to edit mode. Give me the X-ray vision. And go into the side view, and then I can just grab this and pull it into the body a little more, like that. And the same with this. Just pull it into the body slightly, bring it up. All right. So, foot. How do we do a foot? Go to front view. Now, actually, we want to be in side view for most of the foot, but we can bring in the mesh in this. Now, we're going to make this with a separate mesh. I'm just going to turn off X-ray. Shift A to add a cube. And then I'm going to turn off clipping for this. And I'm going to hit S to scale this right down. Make sure you line this up with the side you are editing. Too often do I build the foot on this side, and then I've got nothing to connect it to because there's geometry, because I can't access this geometry without going in and making the mirror modifier. So just make sure that you place the editable cube on the side you are editing. Top tip that, and then make the image visible so that I can line this up. And then how I want this to work is I want this to be as long as the foot. So like this. I'm going to make this see-through. Ooh, what happened there? Oh yeah, because it wasn't X-ray mode. I didn't select everything, so that didn't work. So bring that out like that. And then in the front view, all you need to do is the same thing. So just roughly line it up. Now we're going to use the side view as the main reference for this. That'll make sense in a minute. So go to the side view, and then I'm going to put in some very specific loop cuts. I'm going to put one where the toes start, one about here, roughly in the middle of the foot, and one where the foot is going to line up with the ankle, right? In a bit. It's very thick, but don't worry about that. We're going to fix that. So go back into side view and do this. So grab this vertex here, make sure you're in X-ray, and then bring that down. Grab this one, bring it up, and then grab the middle one and bring it down to create that shape. Grab these two vertices and bring them up. That's going to be your foot. And then bring that in slightly, like that. Okay, you can even bring that down a little bit if you want a bit more of an exaggerated like toe shape. We're going to be putting boots on this guy later, so we only just need a rough shape. Right, now go into the front view, and you can see that we're way off here, so we just need to grab these, bring that in, grab that, bring that in, have a little look at it from the side, make sure that we've not messed it up too much. I think we've not actually grabbed the right vertices there when we've done that, so I'm just going to grab those two. Yeah, that's better, I think. Line them up with the foot. Okay, and now we're just going to use our knowledge of what actually feet look like to tidy this up a little bit. Okay, so I'm not happy with that. I don't think that looks great, so I'm just going to undo that. So I'm going to grab the whole thing. So hover over it and press L, and I'm just going to line it up a little better actually. Okay, and then I'm going to grab the back of the foot, so grab the face of the back of the foot, and I'm going to scale it on the X, bring that in like that. We have a narrower part of the foot there. And then I'm going to grab this loop, so hold Alt and make sure you're on the Edge tool, select that. And then again, I'm going to S on the X, scale on the X to bring that in like that. Okay, and then with this very last face, I'm going to do the same thing. Grab the face, S, X, bring it in slightly like that. And, you know, that's a bit of a better foot shape for us. It's not perfect, but it'll do for now. Right, so the next thing we want to do is connect this foot to the ankle. Now, if I hit L over the foot and just drag it down, and we can look here, now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we've got 8 faces. But if we look, 1, 2, 3 lines that way, and 1 line that way is going to give us what we need. So that's what we'll do. So we've got 1 loop that wants to go that way, and then if we just put 1 there and then come here and hit 3, it will also give us the toes that we need if we wanted toes. Okay, now what we need to do is select all these faces. So grab these faces and grab these faces and we're going to hit X and delete faces. There we go. Okay, so grab this, move it up so that it's a bit closer to the foot. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to essentially attach this part of the foot to this part. Now, again, you can prepare this a little better and spend more time making sure these shapes are roughly right. But the best way to practice is just to go ahead and do it a few times, and then you get the feel of how it works. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this loop. So make sure I'm on edge selection, select this loop, hold Shift Alt to select this loop as well. and then come up to edit, go to menu search and type bridge tools. And there you go. Click on that, and that will bridge those two things for us. Okay. Now I'm not super duper happy with that. I don't think that works very well, so I'm just going to delete that. And then with this, I'm going to hold Alt to select that, and then I'm going to press S to scale. I'm going to SX to scale it like that. They're a bit closer to each other. Now what we could do is circularize that. All right. Let's see what happens when we do that. So hold Shift and Alt, click that, come up to Edit, Menu Search, Bridge Tools, and there you go. Actually, that works a little better. Okay, now that isn't perfect, so we need to go into Front View, go into not wireframe, but X-ray, and now, of course, we can line this up how we want it to be. Okay, go into side view, and you can see now that that is not right, so we can straighten that up. It's just a case of going through and editing it in the way that you want it to be. That and those. And it's just one of those things that you can spend hours and hours messing around with if you want to. But that, for now, I'm going to leave it like that because we're going to need to move on. But yeah, that doesn't look too bad at all. Quite happy with that foot. Feet and the hands, obviously, are the hardest parts, just like with drawing. So that's not too bad at all. So let's have a look at the time. Okay, we better stop this one here. But in the next one, we'll join the head and the hands. And then we shall get on with making like our first costume for him. I think we're going to put a bum on him as well. I'll show you how to do that. That can be a bit hit and miss, but we might not actually, because I don't think it'll be necessary with this character design. Anyway, we'll burn that bridge when we get to it. All right, then. I'll see you in the next one.